Let's start off by taking a look at some keys to victory for both teams in this ball game. Looking at the New York Jets, that run-pass ratio has to remain close to 50-50. I thought this was an area in which they excelled last week versus Cincinnati. They ran the football very well. They threw the football effectively, and it's because they had a 50-50 ratio from run to pass. So that can happen again versus Buffalo. They'll be in great position to win this one as well. Now, Decker and Marshall, I think, have to avoid those mental lapses in the football game. Those mental mistakes tend to be physical mistakes, and we saw that on that last drive. And we'll go into a little bit deeper when we get to the film session portion of this video. And also play with controlled aggression. You can be aggressive, but you can't be over-aggressive and get outside your rush lanes. Otherwise, Tyrod Taylor can gash you on the ground with his legs. And moving over to the Bills in this ball game, I think they have excellent personnel in the backfield that matches up very well versus those Jets linebackers. You look at Reggie Bush and LaShawn McCoy, whether it's on these outside runs or pass plays, they have to find ways to create those one-on-one matchups in space versus those Jets backers. And utilizing those tight ends in the passing game, again, I like the depth that the Bills have here with Charles Clay and also a guy like Nick O'Leary, finding ways to get those 2 or even 3 tight end sets involved in this offense versus the Jets, and again against that 3-4 defense could be advantageous. And the linebackers have to stay alert in the passing game. Again, when you're facing a team like the New York Jets that throw a lot of intermediate routes over the middle of the field, your linebacker play has to be excellent as far as staying alert, not only just for the screen game but also in those intermediate passing zones that Ryan Fitzpatrick loves to attack. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's the Jekyll and Hyde quarterbacking that frustrates you. Here's an example of good Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I think Fitz is one of the best fade stop passers in football. He gets excellent placement on these type of passes. And you see right here versus Cincinnati, he makes a perfect hip pocket throw for the touchdown. That ball was perfectly placed, and it was an indefensible throw for the defender. Let's look at the situation here. Jets are down by 1, no timeouts, 54 seconds left, and the ball is at the 25-yard line. First play, Jets spread the field, and Fitz reads it well, makes a great throw, and it's dropped by Brandon Marshall. That's a huge play that would have put them within striking distance of field goal range. Next play, good read, but the ball looked as if it was tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete. Now here's the bad Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's 3rd down, and the Bengals drop 8 back in the coverage, and we'll freeze it right here. Look at the space to keep this drive alive. Fitz is a terrific athlete, and this would have been a 1st down. Instead, he's late on his deep out throw, which means the defensive back is in great position to make the play and absolutely makes the play for the game-clinching interception. So too often than not, we've seen this story play out, and it's up to Fitz to play better situational football and take better care of the football within those situations. It's the little things that matter in football as we move over to the Buffalo Bills. Case in point on this 3rd down play versus Baltimore is little things like technique and communication or lack thereof can cause problems. Just like here, LaShawn McCoy's poor technique allows the linebacker to slip his block. And on the other side, a lack of communication allows the defensive lineman to get passed off to no one in particular. And both defenders meet at the quarterback for the sack. These are the type of little things that can add up to big problems for your offense. So if you're Buffalo, communication, technique has to be first and foremost as they take on the New York Jets. The biggest X factor in this game for the New York Jets, in my opinion, will be the mobility of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like I mentioned before, he's a tremendous athlete, and he can pick up those cheap 4 to 5 yards on the ground, which could be enough to extend the drive or get them inside scoring position. So I think his ability to take off versus this pressure defense could give Buffalo an added problem to worry about in this ball game. And for the Bills, the biggest X factor, I think, will be the play of their inside linebackers. Preston Brown and company have to do a great job owning the middle of the field in the passing game. Again, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy that tends to flatline a lot of passes. There will be opportunities for you to get plays, make plays on the football, whether that's batting it down or picking it off. So I think the inside backers have to be ready, they have to be alert, and they can determine whether or not the Bills do a great job defensively. I like the Bills in this ball game. In my opinion, this game will ultimately come down to who can you trust to make plays down the stretch offensively. And I think when you look at the playmakers the Bills have at their disposal, more in particular in the backfield and also at tight end, I would tend to lean that way for Buffalo. These teams are built the same way. Their defense can be aggressive. They can press on the outside. The Jets do have the better defensive line in my opinion, but overall, they're the same team from a fundamental standpoint. I think from a talent standpoint, offensively, I would give the Bills a little bit more or edge in that area. So I think the Bills take care of business at home versus their AFC rival, the New York Jets.